Check out the video description for details. It's Monday, September 18th. Got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about viewer picks and some of the better viewer picks that we had and how they're doing. I want to highlight three in particular, some of the best ones that we have, and one that could be potential big stuff coming up. So let's jump right in. The first one I want to talk about is AMD, and AMD has been one of our longest viewer picks. We keep track of all of them. Let me go ahead and pull it up full screen. There we go. Here's our viewer picks. AMD has been one of the better performing ones, about 32%. Some of the other better ones, Tencent, Gilead's pretty good. Micron's been doing phenomenal, 32%. So really good viewer picks. The only ones that really haven't panned out were two of the real long shots, and these weren't even. I wouldn't necessarily. I just picked them just to put them on there as a viewer pick, just to track. But they were part of our real long shot, super high risk reward episode. So don't really count them, but AMD is performed very well and could be up to run again. Let me pull up AMD, show you the chart here. It's up 5.5% today. AMD is interesting where as AMD has really gotten traction, it always falls by the wayside and gains traction. It never seems to sustain. Now we might be getting some sustained action from AMD. They always they have a really good processor and prospects, and then they don't seem to capitalize on that. Now they have a great base with the gaming consoles and stuff, so we like that about AMD. They're solid there. Now, one of the interesting things was their Ryzen processor. When it came out, people were a little bit underwhelmed, and it wasn't as good as they thought it could be. Now, one of the things with that is this was apparently the worst case scenario for AMD on how their Ryzen processor turned out. And it turned out actually pretty good, but it was worst case scenario for them. And the next ones coming up are supposed to be way better. So they have a solid foundation built on these, and that's a lot of the reason why AMD has been up lately, is because apparently it was a worst case scenario for their processor, and the next wave is going to be great. So AMD continues to be a top performing viewer pick stock. So check them out. Maybe get them on a pullback. We like them. Now the next viewer pick, Micron, is one that we've talked about in the past. Now this one is particularly of interest this month, as they've got their earnings they're going to be releasing later this month. They're up 3%. The interesting thing with this, let's see, I got the date here. Micron is September 26th is the release for their latest earnings. But we've talked about this before. Over at TipRanks, the bottom projection is 36 and high is 62. They're really strong with their RAM and their flash chips that they have there. So good things coming from Micron, and really the upside is potentially doubling the money. So it's already had a good 30+% run as a viewer pick, and still might be one to take a look at, especially as it gets closer to earnings. A lot of people expecting it to go way higher. The bottom is 36. It's at 35.7. So it might be a good one to get in on. And our final pick that we're going to take a look at is iRobot, which got beaten down pretty good. This is definitely more of a speculative pick. It was a couple of days ago. You can see it was trading upwards of 100, dropped down to 80. With that type of pullback, it's starting to make its way up. Now, what we like about iRobot is not a lot of debt. They got free cash flow of 84 million, no debt, 260 million in cash. They have a decent amount of cash, but one of the cooler things is developing for the future and getting people to work on these robots that clean and stuff like that. So they're building for long term using these and getting a development program with younger people, which is one of the reasons why we like Apple and how they're doing that. So iRobot's definitely a speculative pick and could be a good one with a good amount of upside. So there's the viewer picks, some of the strongest ones that we have. They've been performing very well. AMD and Micron certainly, and we're adding to that iRobot as potential upside. It dropped off a cliff recently. That's more of like a trade you can get in on the swing upward as it bounces back a little and as it becomes oversold. So definitely AMD and Micron, top two performers. iRobot, there's a nice speculative pick for you. So that's it for today's show. Subscribe if you haven't already. Get the latest investing news for gamers. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave us some feedback. Put us some stock tips in the comments. We read them all, and we'll put them on the show here, or any stocks you like to see. This week, trying to get back to normal after last week was very Nintendo Direct and Apple, their news heavy. So get back to more of a mix of stocks that are around technology, gaming, and entertainment. So thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.